Hi, my name is Arda, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on teaching standards, a comparison. The objectives of this presentation are to find common themes between educational standards, show how standards address professional collaboration and data-driven instructional decision-making, and describe how teachers are responsible for improving practice and advancing the profession. The standards I selected are InTASC Standard Number 2, NCTE 3 with special attention to Element 1, InTASC Standard Number 6, NCTE 4, InTASC Standard Number 10, and NCTE 6. A common theme that I found was for diversifying instruction. InTASC Standard Number 2 is about understanding individual differences, and it states, the teacher uses understanding of individual differences and diverse cultures and communities to ensure inclusive learning environments that enable each learner to meet high standards. And NCTE 3, element number 1, talks about utilizing range and instructional strategies. This standard states, candidates use their knowledge of theory, research, and practice in English language arts to plan standards-based, coherent, and relevant learning experiences, utilizing a range of different texts across genres, periods, forms, authors, cultures, and various forms of media, and instructional strategies that are motivating and accessible to all students, including ELLs, students with special needs, students from diverse language and learning backgrounds, those designated as high achieving, and those at risk of failure. For effective teaching, we need diversity. We need to understand that students come from vast multitudes of backgrounds, and every single student is different. And we need to implement that student knowledge of their backgrounds into lessons. A study by Valiendes, Nefitu, and Hagistero talk about content integration empowers those students whose group affiliations are not traditionally represented in school curriculum and who are therefore often excluded. By giving those students a chance to talk about themselves and their experiences within the classroom, we open up a dialogue and we let those students talk and we let other students learn from them, thereby expanding everyone's knowledge and everyone's sort of just life. Another common theme that I found was assessment variety. InTASC Standard Number 6 talks about multiple methods of assessment, and NCTE 4 talks about designing assessments for composing text. InTASC Standard Number 6 states that the teacher understands and uses multiple methods of assessment to engage learners in their own growth, to monitor learner progress, and to guide the teachers' and learners' decision-making. And NCTE 4 states that candidates plan instruction and design assessments for composing texts, such as oral, written, and visual, to promote learning for all students. For effective teaching, we need to give students a different approach to assessments because not every student will be able to test the same. The assessment approaches in online courses can include a combination of techniques all within the same online course experience, such as traditional assessment methods like quizzes and examinations, like multiple choice, or those labeled as authentic assessment methods like e-portfolios, online journals, and group work. This is from a study by Martin, Britzkopf, and Kumar and Budrani. This particular assignment that we were assigned is a great example of an out-of-the-box assessment. We have to sit and record a presentation online and be able to post it somewhere for our teacher to be able to see. This is something that I'm not used to, so this is something very outside my comfort zone. This is an example of a variety of assessment that we could take. InTASC and NCTE talk about collaboration. InTASC Standard Number 10 talks about collaborating in spheres of influence, and NCTE 6 talks about interacting knowledgeably. InTASC Standard Number 10 talks about that the teacher understands that alignment of family, school, and community spheres of influence enhances student learning and that discontinuity in these spheres of influence interferes with learning. And NCTE 6 says that candidates are prepared to interact knowledgeably with students, families, and colleagues based on social needs and institutional rules engage in leadership and/or collaborative roles in English language arts professional learning communities, and actively develop as professional educators. So, is collaboration the most important part of the job? Pretty much. Teachers regularly interact with students, families, administrators, etc. And teachers need to be people persons to be able to talk to all these people. Teachers must also be willing to extend the hand of open communication. We need to be able to interact with all these people to make sure that the student is meeting the goals that they set for themselves, and that students are meeting the goals that the school sets for them, to make sure that they're on task, make sure that they're able to complete everything, and make sure that they're just getting the learning that they need to. InTASC and NCTE talk about data-driven instruction. The InTASC states that data-informed instructional decision-making uses data from multiple sources to understand learning strengths and needs in order to suggest classroom and school-wide instructional solutions. And the NCTE states that candidates design or knowledgeably select appropriate reading assessments that inform instruction by providing data about student interests, reading proficiencies, and reading processes. InTASC teacher expectations. The InTASC explicitly states that a teacher's responsibility is making sure that all students learn, seeing themselves as leaders from the beginning of their career, and advocating for their students, and actively looking for new ideas to improve teaching and learning and advancing teaching as a profession. Collaboration is absolutely a must with teaching. And that's my presentation. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.